Cheers and celebrations are expected as the country's two vice presidents, Comrade Emmerson Mnangagwa and Comrade Pelekezela Mpogo, are sworn in tomorrow. This will be followed by possible appointments and disappointments as President Mugabe conducts an anticipated cabinet reshuffle or realignment. What can the nation expect from the revolutionary Comrade Mugabe, who is in an uncompromising mood after firing Dr. Joyce Mujuru from the vice presidency and 8 ministers from his cabinet? Well, Janet Munyaka takes us through the possibilities.
The 6th ZANU-PF National People's Congress has come and gone. Its leadership is now in place. What changes await a realigned cabinet? This is the question that many people are grappling with. Political analyst Mr. Wellington Gadzikwa says a cabinet reshuffle is imminent after 7 ministers and a deputy minister were relieved of their duties this week.
We expect cabinet ministries that mirror what the country needs to achieve, which are critical. And remember, we want to save resources. We don't want just to splash a lot of money on a lot of ministries, which will be duplicating each other. Yes. So we are likely to see, maybe, if that is the trust, we are likely to see some merging of some ministries.
President Mugabe has made it clear that ministers will be chosen from the reconstituted Central Committee. Political expert Mr. Langton Mabanga believes Comrade Mugabe will not appoint armchair ministers.
The president is really looking at high caliber of ministers to be appointed, people who have a focus to serving the nation, people who are really, movers and shakers, who are hands-on, people who are going to, translate the policies into real deliverables, people who can now make dream assets, conceptualized by the ordinary person.
Another political analyst, Mr. Leopold Chekanyuka, expects some portfolios to be reconfigured.
When President really reduced the number of Politburo members, and some people who were also in the past Politburo members were removed as a sign by the president telling the whole country that we are now moving with people who are really committed, people who are ready to work, people who are ready to achieve and give back to what they have promised to the people. So we are expecting also, when the president appoints a new cabinet, we expect some people who are really hard working to come on board. And we are believing that the government ministries also are going to be reduced, and some could be actually joining others so that it actually increases efficiency.
The two vice presidents are expected to be sworn in this Friday, and President Mugabe has a mammoth task of putting together an action-oriented cabinet that will help him fulfill his election promises and improve the people's living standards. Janet Munyaka, ZBC News, Harare.
The government has been urged to beef up security around those at the helm of both the party and government. This comes in the wake of an attempt on the life of the ZANU-PF Vice President and Second Secretary, Comrade Emmerson Mnangagwa, when unknown assailants sprinkled a toxic substance suspected to be cyanide in his office at the party's headquarters in Harare. 3 people have since been admitted in hospital as a result of the attack. And as our chief correspondent Ruben Barwe reports, the callous hand of the Rhodesians appears to be at play.
The struggle for independence in Zimbabwe and other Southern African white-ruled countries has been costly in human life. In the early 1960s, the Rhodesians started eliminating blacks whom they thought were a threat to their livelihoods, or civilized standards as Smith used to call them. The late Dr. Samuel Tichafa Parirenyatwa was killed near Hini Junction, few kilometers from Bulawayo, and the Rhodesians blamed the railroad accident. Africans refused to buy that. Comrade Leopold Takawira was denied medication in prison in the 70s and was to die in prison. Comrade Herbert Chitepo, the national chairperson of the party, was to die in a car bomb in Lusaka, Zambia, the work of Rhodesians. The same with Comrade Jason Zia Papamoyo, who was killed by a later bomb, again the work of Rhodesians. Many were to disappear like the likes of Dr. Edison Sitole and his secretary, Ethan Dube, to mention but a few. The president, Comrade Robert Mugabe, was to escape a bomb blast in early 1980 in Masvingo. His house in Highfield, Harare, was sprayed with bullets during the same period. The attempt on Comrade Emmerson Mnangagwa, the now ZANU-PF Vice President and Second Secretary, by unknown assailants is devilish and is the work of the evil mind, said Olga Hungwe, the Deputy Political Commissar of ZANU-PF.
ZANU-PF pane leadership inotonga nyika pakuitika zvinhu zvakadaro whoever ane mweya iwoyo tiri kuti isusu ipo panapa ngapaitwe investigation.
Comrade Alexander Kanengoni, a political analyst, says the cleansing exercise in the party seems to have invited the Rhodesian hand, which has realized that after the failure of the MDC machinations, the Mujuru plan is yet again in tatters.
It is always to do with attempts to try and scuttle revolutions. What has happened here with Comrade Mnangagwa is a very clear indication of how what we perceive now is a faction that was trying to topple President Mugabe is linked with our former colonizers.
The Zimbabwe Republic Police spokesperson, Senior Assistant Commissioner Cheryl Charamba, says investigations are in progress and 3 people were affected by the poisonous substance.
Police attended the scene and they've actually scraped some materials from the crime scene, and this has been taken for forensic for examination. We haven't received the results yet, but they are working on that.
If one is to rewind to the 1970s, one sees a rogue regime that is slaughtered blacks with wanton abandonment. Kidnappings, murders, extrajudicial killings was the hallmark of the colonial Rhodesia. The attack at ZANU-PF headquarters is disturbing, and it has worried President Robert Mugabe.
So you have had it. The president yesterday said, why at this juncture? Ruben Barwe, ZBC News, at the ZANU-PF headquarters in Harare.
No to corruption and a big no to non-delivery. President Robert Mugabe has been saying this over and over again. Now the people want those fingered in corruption or fail to carry out their duties excluded from the new cabinet. We get reports from Harare and Bulawayo.
A cross-section of the people in the capital say President Mugabe should not tolerate any form of corruption from the new cabinet to be announced, and heads should roll if the ministers fail to deliver.
Corruption as a minister must be fired. And anofana kutoenda atina basa zvekuti anzi akaita sei akaseva for makore mangani ari muhurumende
chinotodiwa munhu wanyowa ngozi vanopinda vane kutya varimo kutara vachasvika ngozi vazvichaina.
What to expect from the new cabinet? We need guys who can put bread and butter on tables.
Tinokotarisira kuti zvinhu zvichatinakirawo pambera.
The people said the new cabinet should be sincere and work towards economic revival and should be patriotic and accountable if the country is to move forward. Tulani Miga, ZBC News, Harare.
A quick reminder, you're free to give us your views and comments on any issues raised on our bulletin. Feel free to contact the news producers on Harare phone line 498603 or fax number 498650. Alternatively, drop us an email on newsroom@zbc.co.zw. More news and information can be accessed on our website. That's www.zbc.co.zw. Do like our page on Facebook, ZBC News Online, and follow us on Twitter. Our handle there is @ZBC News Online. Korea pledges $5 million towards the construction of a hospital in Mashonaland Central Province. In business news, the government urges industry to fully utilize temporary import restrictions. In sport, the Zimbabwe Under-20 netball team scoops gold at the ongoing Region 5 Youth Games. And those are stories still to come on News Hour. Do stay with us. We'll be right back after this break.
What